Hi folks, as you can see, I am now back from Ukraine and I wanted to give you guys a bit of an update of how we got on over there, what we did, what we've achieved, and what we're going to do in the future. So as most of you I'm sure are already aware, we've been raising money to fund the purchase of emergency medical evacuation vehicles, either ambulances or 4x4s, and we drive them over there. Well, on this second convoy that we've been on, we managed to raise around £8,500, which is an amazing achievement considering it's only, well, I think it's only 6 months since the first one that we went on. So that means in total now we've raised over £20,000, which is, it just blows my mind that we've managed to raise that much. It's all thanks to your help. You've been a huge part in this, and I can't thank you enough. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the difference that these vehicles, of which we've now raised enough money to buy several of them and provide them to Ukraine, how much of a difference these vehicles actually mean to Ukrainians and what great use they're put to over there. So on this convoy, there was 13 volunteers set off from Oxford in 6 vehicles. As you can see, we took the silver Toyota Hilux over that we were pictured with beforehand. And we had a fairly uneventful trip. It was pretty safe. There's some heavy traffic going through Belgium and around Antwerp, where we had a 2-hour stretch driving in first gear the whole way due to an accident further up the road. That was heavy, but second day, third day into Ukraine, no problem whatsoever. So we arrived in Lviv, all vehicles made it safely there without any incident, and we met the new operator and owner of the Hilux. This is Victoria. Now, she's got quite an interesting story. She was actually in the US at the time that the war broke out at Harvard University, studying investment banking, I think maybe as an intern working over there. And she gave up a very comfortable and very profitable future to come back to her home country to help in the war. And she's got involved saving lives as a combat medic. She's in charge of evacuating casualties. Very important role for which our vehicles help out. In fact, she presented us with this flag that you can now see behind me in the video. Now, at the time, I didn't appreciate that the signatures on this flag were so special. I thought they were her own signature and the signatures of a medical team. They are on there, but there's also all the signatures of the casualties that she's rescued. Now, that makes this an incredibly special and very important flag. And it's very personal. I don't feel comfortable keeping this. So either at the war's end or the next time that we go over on another trip, I'll be returning this to her because that is something very special. And just to give you an idea of the difference these vehicles make and the job that she does with them, there's a signature on here and a little comment that says, "Thank you for the leg." It just goes to show the really important role that the combat medics have, obviously, in the fighting that's going on over there, and the role that our vehicles play when we take them over. They save lives. They make a big difference. So we stayed in Lviv for a couple of days this time, give us a chance to just rest and then plan the journey home, and also help out with getting the aid and everything unloaded from the vehicles we took. So we do take medical aid across as well. And we had one slightly hairy moment when we were over there this time. There was 3 of us from the convoy sat in a local coffee shop waiting for a train to go back to Poland on the final day there. And the air alert went off on the phone. Now, this is the first time that we've seen this happen whilst we're in Ukraine. So the phone went mad, blaring away, and there was 3 nervous sets of eyes looking at each other saying, what are we going to do? How are we going to react to this? So I had a quick check on the phone, on the app, and it seemed to be that this was a countrywide alert. It wasn't just unique to Lviv. So that means that it wasn't something over Lviv or our region that was directly a threat. What had actually happened, and this I've seen this happen before, is that Russian aircraft were detected near the border, but over Russia. And when that happens, they alert the whole country to the potential of an air attack because these bombers or fighters or whatever they were carry missiles that could potentially target anywhere in Ukraine. So knowing that, we felt a little bit safer. And we looked around and the locals weren't even fazed in the slightest. They've been having to put up with this sort of shit for 3 years now. People didn't even look up from the coffee or from the work. They didn't panic, didn't even head for the shelter. Now, knowing that we weren't in any direct threat, or very unlikely to be, that felt fine. But there was also a slightly unnerving and unsettling feeling that we knew that if something did happen to us, we would be forever remembered as those idiot foreigners who didn't listen to the warnings and go to the air raid shelter. However, all turned out to be fine, and after 15 minutes, the all clear was sounded, which was a bit of a relief. I don't really want to be remembered forevermore as one of those idiots who don't listen to the warnings. Now, Lviv is in the west, which is a much safer but not completely safe area compared to the east, which has to put up with this sort of stuff on a far more regular basis and is far more at risk. In fact, one of the volunteers in our convoy then took one of the vehicles on all the way over to Dnipro, which is much closer to the fighting in the front. And he stayed overnight there before getting a train back and out to safety. But on the night he stayed, there was in fact a missile attack just 2 miles away from where he was staying. This is the sort of stuff that really brings it home, the dangers and the hard times that Ukrainians are going through. So I just want to say thanks again to everyone who's supported. You can see the difference that these vehicles have made, and you've been a valuable part of that contribution. So thanks. We couldn't have done this without your help. You've been amazing, folks. So unfortunately, things aren't over in Ukraine, and I'm planning on going back again. It'd be great if the war ended tomorrow. I can't see that happening. If it does, fantastic. But until it does, then I will be going back. How we're going to fund the next one, I don't know. I have a few avenues I can go down to try and find some more help for that, but we'll find a way. You know, we're with this to the end. But I just want to say thanks again for everyone who's helped. It really does make such a big difference, and thank you for everything.